Hello and welcome to episode 29 of Think Big with Michael Zellner. All positive, no politics. My guests today are Wilbur Hensley, Kelly Potter, and my special guest host today is Romeo Khazen. Wilbur happens to be the co-owner of Beale Street Sweets, of Blue City Cafe, Blue City General Store, and Club 152 on Beale Street. He has been in the club and business here in Memphis for over 40 years. And if you know Wilbur and you're out in the bar scene and everything, go up to him and say hello because he's very friendly. He'll definitely talk to you. He's a super nice guy. Kelly actually worked with Wilbur at Club 152 for 10 years. They are part of the team that led for the top 100 in the nation of nightclubs for 5 straight years in a row. And he now is the owner of his own business called Roof and Nail. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us, Mike. Super excited to see these old friends today.
Awesome. So we'll start off, Wilbur. Tell us something interesting about yourself that most people don't know.
I was a city chess champion. I don't think many people know that. In high school, I won the tournament to represent Memphis in the tournament down in Atlanta. So I placed 37th in the nation.
Awesome.
Bobby Fischer.
Yeah, well, I just got lucky.
Kelly, what about yourself? Tell us something most people don't know, please.
I'd say if I had to say something for this podcast, it'd be that most people think that I, was super successful at 152, but it was only because I worked for the GOAT. I really hold Wilbur in high regards and all of that, and just feel really fortunate to have been right underneath him and Bud Chittum, rest in peace. Things that they taught me over those years, I still translate to business today. A lot of my success was because of a lot of things I downloaded organically day in, day out with Wilbur Hensley. Any chance I get to get on the media or get on something like this, Michael, and tell people what I think about him and share some of the stories that I know that he has bottled up. I mean, I've been trying to get him on multiple podcasts, trying to get multiple people to get him in front of a camera because there's some gems, and I hope we get to some of those today. But if not, that's something that a lot of people don't know about me, is that I tip the hat to that man for a lot of the things that I have today.
That's awesome.
Awesome. We had a great team that we all worked together. Cindy Wilson was an intricate part of that. We had a great team, great group of bartenders, great group of people. It took all of us to make what we did.
And we're going to do this podcast a little bit different than some of my other podcasts. And we've talked about this, seriously and joking, that it's not going to just be me asking questions and, going back and forth that way. We definitely will ask some questions, but it's also just going to be having conversations and telling stories too. So I know that Romeo has a lot of stories and stuff and spending time with both Wilbur and Kelly that he wants to talk about and share too and stuff. So I'm going to definitely give him a chance to pop in here and talk about some fun things too.
That's awesome. I can't wait.
Wilbur, you graduated in the early 70s from Treadwell, and I believe that you started working in popular nightclubs owned by the late Bobby Kaiser. He was part owner of clubs in the 70s and 80s, night spots such as Godfather's, High Cotton, Club Kaiser, Poets Music Hall. And Memphis got their first look at some of the big up and coming acts at the time back then, which were the Police, Pat Benatar, and U2 in his clubs. And you said, quote, "I was like the entertainment director. I booked the bands. I have an ear for music. If bands come around, they sort of valued my opinion. Plus, with my hair hanging down past my shoulders, I seemed to fit right in." You figured out pretty early on in your lifetime that you wanted to go into this business, didn't you?
Yes, I was in the music business. I started out on the other side of the music business, not the bar business, but I was a merchandiser for rock bands all over the country. I was one of the first people in the country to ever put the name, likeness, and image on a T-shirt and hire people and go sell them. So I did that, and one thing led to another. here I am today.
You know, Wilbur, Kelly was telling me that you actually got started in the t-shirt business at the Mid-South Coliseum at Elvis concerts. How did that come about?
Well, we had to stand.
Mama Woo Woo. Shout out Mama Woo Woo. She started this. Don't.
We had to stand in line for tickets to get Elvis so my mama could go to the show. And while we worked in the carnival. I was a carny, you could say. My mom owned games at the fairgrounds. Elvis was playing at the Coliseum, and I had to go get tickets so my mama could go see Elvis. So while I was out there, I go, all these women out here, how the heck can I make some money? So I went to a guy that had a t-shirt shop down the street from our house. I didn't have any money. All I had was my name and my word. I said, you'll make me some shirts. I think I can go sell them and make us some money. If you have any dead stock that you can't get rid of, or something you just want to get rid of, just give it a shot. If I can't sell them, I'll come down here and work it out. And he made me some shirts. He put Elvis across the front, white letters, and 3 lines under. I went out to the Coliseum. I was waiting in line and showed them in 10 minutes. I told him, I said, I'll be right back.
Golly.
No, that's how I started. And they chased me all over the country. We were bootleggers is what we were. You know, and that was before anybody ever knew what a bootlegger was. You know, I was one of the very first ones to ever do it.
Is that when your handle was the Red Lizard?
I was the Red Lizard. They couldn't catch me.
And like I told you, Michael, on that bottle of vodka, if you look at the image of the picture, then the video I sent you, there's a Godfather character with it that's a red lizard with long red hair and bald on the top. That was in the likeness of that character, that personality back then that used to run shit when it came to t-shirts. You know, he had top tier bands from around the world that knew his name because they're like, who is this guy that's making all this money, that's following our tour around? And basically creating this market of what is now a band merch, you know, and he was a big part of that story just from the research that I've done.
We, you know, we never used a real name. Everybody had a nickname. We had Plasmo, New York Rick, Saigon, and on.
The Weasel.
The Weasel.
The Weasel.
The Weasel. And then I was the cheese to my crew, but I was the lizard on the road because they knew when they came, they better be ready.
You know, tell us,
Mike, can you believe if social media was present, how much money he would have made off these shirts?
oh my God.
Yeah, it was.
You know, imagine social media I mean, the good and bad of social media, we know what that is and everything, but imagine back then when you were doing something like that, the promotion, that would have been unbelievable.
Yeah, it would have been.
No doubt.
All we could do was throw them in a duffel bag. We carried these things you see on 18-wheelers that they bang on the tires with to see if they're flat. Everybody had a tire buddy in the bag, and we were called the tire. And when we would go to the show, people would try to steal our shirts and want to back us up in a corner, and you just yelled high roller. You heard somebody yelling that, you knew they were in trouble. So stop what you were doing, grab your tire buddy, and go to work. And that was a reputation we had all over the country.
Unbelievable.
Can I mention the shirts at the Hard Rock, or is that something you're gonna say for the book?
Yeah,
we're just getting started, man. You better go get some Sudafed or something.
Yeah, we went to the Hard Rock in Vegas, but when it was the Hard Rock, and they had a wall of bands and merchandise from back in the day, and they had my shirts framed on the wall of the Hard Rock.
Wow,
Nice.
that is so cool.
So basically, events that didn't even have an event shirt, they had found them, and someone had, turned it in as, "Hey, this was my memorabilia from back then." And they made it to the wall of the Hard Rock Casino in Las Vegas. I just thought that was the coolest.
That is awesome.
That and the Wilbur, if you want to tell the Super Bowl story with the guy that tried to sell you a bootleg shirt and you told him you started this shit. You want to tell that story? It's just validation.
Which Super Bowl was that?
Man, I just want it on record.
Me and Louisa were at the Super Bowl, and we were going to an Eagles concert, which was before the Super Bowl, and we're walking up. The guys were out there; they're selling shirts in the parking lot. And this was long after I'd quit doing that. And I walked up. I was going to buy one. Those guys, man, I appreciate you carrying on my legacy. I started this crap way back before you ever knew what it was. And he looked at me and he said, "You're a damn idiot. The guy that started this named Wilbur. He's from Memphis." And I said, "Yeah, you're right. I am Wilbur."
The best part of that story is Wilbur had a group with him. And when that guy said, "No, a guy named Wilbur," you got that whole scene of, "Ooh," everybody's like, "That's him." I don't know. For me, man, having a real appreciation for the history of all that. Just some of these moments that
Absolutely.
It's things like that I was hoping we'd pull out, and I've got it wrote down to bring up. So
I'm glad you did that. Absolutely, because those are stories that are just most of these I would never have ever heard or get told, because they're certainly not going to be told on social media.
No doubt.
How did you guys meet, Kelly? How did you get involved at 152 and that relationship start?
I moved here when I was about 26, and I ran a steakhouse in Olive Branch called Colton's. And Goose and Danny used to come in on Sundays. That was their place where they would come in and regroup and talk about the week. And Goose pulled me to the side one day and he said, "Man, you have an amazing crew here." And I was very fortunate to have some rock stars there in Olive Branch. And we started talking, and I actually got interviewed when Jason Ralph, the year before he had got hired to work down there. I got interviewed for that spot. He beat me out because he had Beale Street experience. I got in the real estate game. That was the crash of 2004. And Goose called me again. He said, "Hey man, I know that I interviewed you before and we hired somebody else, but there's another spot. Do you want to come talk to us?" I said, "Absolutely." I went and talked to Goose, and in that conversation, he spoke of Wilbur Hensley. He spoke of Bud Chittum. And I went and did my research, and I said, "These are the guys that, I'm to actually work right underneath the owners in the restaurant business. That doesn't typically happen. And Colton's, the guy owns 16 of them. So something about the mystery, something about the history of Beale, something about everything I found from Bud and Wilbur, I was just intrigued, and I couldn't wait to go down there and work for these guys. And Wilbur, I didn't get to meet him at first. I literally, he was sick when I started, and I got told about him. I felt like I knew him thanks to Cindy. We had a lot of heartfelt conversations, and she was like, "Look, he's coming back. You don't understand. He looks forward to these messages every day." So for literally a year, I'm talking to his Ticket Express voicemail every night, and I never met the man. And then once we met, it was just, we shot off some fireworks. He came back in there like sick. "What are you talking about?" He's in there till 8 a.m. counting bottle caps with me. So, but that's the short version of how I ended up on Beale. Was I got recruited from Colton Steakhouse in the real estate market crash, and then I spent from 30 to 40. I took off 5 Saturdays. In 10 years, I missed 5 Saturdays. If that just tells you how, what it took. You just can't miss. That's the money. And I'll tell you, I got married. I had a kid. I lost some very close people in my life, but you don't miss Saturday. So and 2 of those Saturdays was to throw another concert in another state. So I don't know, a lot of good times, but that's how I ended up there.
And Kelly, you kind of hit it on the head, man. That 152 was a big family more than a business. Like I was telling Mike earlier, the way people looked at Wilbur, they looked at him as a father figure, and everybody was brothers and sisters. Because even me hanging out there and enjoying my time and partying, it was always, I saw how close you all worked together, from bartenders to security guards to the people cleaning the club to the managers to the owners. Everybody was like one family, and y'all, it was amazing. Like the vibe in there was incredible.
Well, the thing though, Romeo, is you know, we had our top tier that was on the other side, like yourself, that, you know, we couldn't do what we did without what you did. You know, that cross promotion, that working together, that coming together. And it's unfortunate, in my opinion, that, you know, Beale Street doesn't come together more. The city of Memphis doesn't come together more, because Beale Street, Memphis, they're iconic. You know, the influencers, the music that comes out, the music that's been here, the history that's here. I just feel like there's still missed opportunities. But you know, that was the biggest thing that got us through. But don't sell yourself short, Romeo. We counted on guys like you, just like we counted on each other.
Wilbur, what did you think about Kelly when you first met Kelly?
Well, you know, I felt that when I met him that I had found the guy that I could depend on, that I knew wasn't going to do anything that was going to change or damage or head in the wrong direction. I knew he was going to be the one that would take it, and we would collaborate on what we were going to do, and we'd take it to where we wanted it to be. And that's exactly what we did.
Isn't loyalty, it's so unfortunately, it's just so rare these days. I mean, to have someone as loyal as Kelly was and still obviously is to you, that's pretty awesome.
Oh, absolutely. You don't find that much nowadays. You know, people in the bar business today are you know, I mean, our crew never left. You know, I mean, that's the only reason they left. They got married, they got too old, they moved. You know, they didn't leave, and it was it was a sight to behold. You know?
You know, one of the first clubs that I actually met you at, Wilbur, we talked about was Night Moves at Winchester and Mendenhall. And back in the late 80s, my friend, or mutual friend of ours, Ollie, dragged me in there on a Monday night for Modern Music Mondays with David the Worm. And I got my first taste of modern music. I remember bands like, you know, Book of Love and New Order and things like that. And I just, you know, fell in love with that music. You brought in headliners, I believe, like Joan Jett, the Smithereens there too. What do you remember most about Night Moves?
You know, Night Moves and Modern Music Monday was the start of 616. It was my first taste of a bigger dance club that had a little bit of everything, from bebop Monday, Modern Music Monday, the bebop Wednesday. I don't remember all the things that we did, but it had a different theme every day, and it was a lot of work. It was a whole lot of fun. I learned a lot from Bud. You know, we did that together, and I miss him every day.
You know, David the Worm was such a, you know, special DJ. I mean, you know, he really got that music. I mean, he loved that music, but he really got that music. And I know that's had to be 100% the reason why you had him on those Monday nights. And then you brought him to be your head DJ at 616 a few years later too, right?
That's exactly right. You know, Modern Music Monday was the start of 616.
Yeah. You know, Kelly, I was reading online something that you posted about your great grandfather, Samuel. He was a World War I veteran, and you posted a picture of his registration card, and you said how much that, you know, it gave you strength. Where did you find the strength when you've had adversity in your life? Where do you find the strength to reach down and to dig deep?
Kelly, unmute yourself, Kelly.
Yeah, you're muted. Sorry.
You're muted. Unmute yourself.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
I find strength on the people that depend on me. I feel like I thrive when I know that people I care about, and that's like at 152. I would tell people all the time, it's the employees. I genuinely care. I genuinely cared if my patrons made it home safe. And for me on a daily basis, it's just knowing that my kids, my wife, my mom, my brother, my sister, my employees now, my coworkers, my partner, Justin, that they count on me. And that's where I get my strength from. I just doing for others. It's always been my fuel. Watching somebody else feel a certain way because I was, that's why 152, man, it was addictive. I'm the guy they're coming to have a good time, to celebrate. I'm the guy when they're having a bad time, they're coming to see us, and just constantly trying to working with people. Just like when I went into the medical clinics, the same thing. People come to me overweight. People come to me with low testosterone, depressed. Just being able to help people is, it's everything.
Wilbur, your father, I believe, was in the Army, World War II veteran. Cletus passed away at a relatively young age, at, I believe, 67 back in 1979. What do you remember most about your dad?
He was a member of the Moose Lodge. We lived in a small town in Kentucky called Henderson, Kentucky, and he taught me the hustle. I sold Mason's shoes at the Moose Lodge. I took newspapers called the Grit newspaper, which was the U.S. before the USA Today. It was called Grit, and sold them in bars around this small town that I had. So, he taught me the hustle. He took me to the horse track at Ellis Park. I was the photo boy back before it all became digital. The horses would, when they crossed the finish line, the camera would take a picture of the horse crossing the line, and I had to run across the track and get the film, run back across the track and put it on a pulley and pull it up to the judges, and they would develop it, and I would have to go up and get it and bring it back down and post it in a box. All the time during the day, I'd go over to sell newspapers in the paddock area. So my dad taught me how to hustle, and that's what I did. And
that's where you developed your strong work ethic too, isn't it?
I hope so. I think, I worked all my life. We didn't grow up with anything. We didn't have anything. Whatever we wanted, we had to go get. That's what I did.
Kelly, you talked about how you guys worked together for 10 years, and you just posted something for Wilbur's birthday. Wilbur just celebrated his 29th birthday. You posted on this timeline, you said, happy birthday, my brother. Thank you for the movie quality friendship over the years. You guys have a really special relationship. Tell everybody what that's meant to you.
Man, you trying to make me cry on this thing? I thought.
Yes.
We've just been through a lot together, man. That's how you form the best bonds, because you get in the tightest of spots. It's no secret we got shut down. It's no secret I was at the courthouse. It's no secret me and Wilbur has been in fist fights together. There's no secret the stuff that we've been through, and you find out what somebody's made of in the hardest of times. It ain't in a good time.
Right.
It was easy to go, throw a top 100 party, and it's easy to go be the hero that grabs the trophy. But when they put the locks on the door, and when people pull you to the side and they want to talk about the this and the that's, then you find out, when the piles of money aren't laying around, you find out what people are made of. And time and time and time again, Wilbur Hensley was just there for me. He's there for everybody that was there. He's at the very top. But if the bus boy got in some shit, he's coming to get all of us, and we're all coming. Right. So that translates to anything. Look at the world today. It's people are there. There's us versus you versus me. But when people come together, we're stronger, and that's what we had. We had a strong bond together. he was strong in one area and I'm strong in the other. And together we was tough to deal with, you know, on a street that's that iconic and thousands of people in and out on a weekly, daily basis, 365 days of live music, 3 levels of nightclub, you know, on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and sometimes Sunday night. I mean, that there's no accident that we're both still standing, you know. It's no accident. I mean, I watched him. He was in his 20-something year of nightclubs when I started, you know, and I'm looking at this guy like, how am I gonna? I don't know how I made it 2 years, much less 10. I mean, it was harder than anything I've ever done. 16-hour shifts, no sunlight, alcohol, fried food, just name the pressure. And but I just like I said, I feel like I work for the GOAT. Like I know we're just in Memphis, Tennessee. I know we were just number 71 in the nation, but when you look at the where we're at and the number of clubs that opened up right beside us and the shots that were taken at us from all angles, and then to still have the doors open, that's a testament to even the other owners. And we ain't got to get into all them, but man, they were that team of 5 is something it's movie quality. I've watched I'm a big fan of all those movies, but I lived it. I literally got to work with those people. And it's just something that I hope to continue to keep talking about. You know, I hope that one day, I know that we're not going to get it all in today, but I can't tell you how much of a rush it is, I'm super thankful to have this platform to get on here and just get a couple of these stories. You know, maybe we do a part 2 one day.
I was about to say, there's always a part 2. Yeah. Yeah. You know,
Terry, we haven't even started on the stories yet.
No,
Kelly. This is just an intro.
you know,
We're still PG-13.
exactly. Yeah. When I post the videos, I do put on there for YouTube, not suitable for kids. So, so just in case. Yeah. Romeo and I talked a few weeks ago when I interviewed him on the podcast about, you know, that people see all the fun stuff that you're doing, you know, when in his line of work, you know, working with all the big wigs and celebrities. In your line of work, you guys working, you know, they see the partying and having fun, but they don't see all the really hard stuff that you have to do behind the scenes, do they?
No, they sure don't. No, everybody wants to be in the bar business until they're in the bar business, and they go, "Oh my God, what am I doing?" It's not for the faint of heart or the weak-minded person to be in a bar, no matter how small or how large. But
let's just be honest. In the bar business, one thing is for certain that I've learned: you make some of the best relationships you'll make in your life. You get as close as you could ever get to somebody that's not a blood relative. But the pain of all that is that we lose a lot of them. A lot of people don't make it. You know, a lot of people don't survive the alcohol or the addiction or the late nights or the driving home drunk or whatever it is. And you lose a lot of people that you're very close to, you know, and it's like you said, it's not for the faint of heart. And that if for nothing else, it's just the pain of, I mean, I can name 20 people that meant a lot to me that is no longer here, that was in some form or fashion, whether it be a top tier guest or someone that we worked side by side with for years. And probably the most recent and the most, you know, one of the more painful things that was lost was losing JJ. And I don't know, man, that's why we become, we were so close, you know, we go through all those things, and then to lose these people that we're so close to, and we can't do anything but kind of chalk it up to that's just kind of part of it. You know, it's lost. You know, everybody's there for the wins, but you don't think about the people that we lost to the lifestyle, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
and then to the point Mike was making, just real quick, you got to give Wilbur and the other owner a lot of props for keeping that place running as long as it has, and even Blue City Cafe for it to become one of the best restaurants we have on Beale Street, right? Like I told you, Mike, it used to be every NBA team that came in town, like they used to go Blue City Cafe. our dear friend John Calipari, that was his hangout spot. I mean, before games, after games, when he was with Kentucky, he'd come over there. Like, for them to run establishment that lasted for that long, gotta give you a lot of respect for the way they were handling stuff behind closed doors and how they kept it running and evolving. And they never had a high turnaround either, right? Your turnaround was almost non-existent at your places, Wilbur. And that shows you a lot of respect for the owners. I mean, when the employees stay there for 10, 15 years, you're doing something right.
Yeah, I remember back in Night Moves. I mean, Harlan, I believe Harlan was one of your loyal guys that worked for you back in the day, Wilbur. And he was a real nice guy, big guy, and you wouldn't expect him to be this nice guy, but he was a super nice guy. I think Jenny used to work the door at 616. Was always super nice. I mean, you know, as I talked to you off there, how nice you were to me. I never paid to get into 616 because you were just always just so nice to me, and I never had to wait in line. And that just, you know, you were just, like I said, very classy to me back in the day. You know, you've developed so many special relationships with people over the years, and Kelly just started talking about some of them, just the friendships you made, not only from customers coming in, but the special people that work for you, like, you know, Kelly and his wife Tiffany, and you have Cindy Wilson, and you know, the two people that he mentioned, one of them, you know, JJ Spencer and Bud Chittum. I know that the two of them were really special to you. Tell us just a little bit about them.
You know, JJ started working for me as a bar back years ago. And, you know, he was at 616. And first bar he ever came in was called the High Road. Place I had back it up and squared. He had to sneak in. So I told him, I said, well, if I ever tell you to leave, don't ask me why. Just get the heck out. You know? and he became a bar back. He became a bartender. He kept moving on up the ladder. And you know, when he died, was a sad day in my life. You can't ever say enough about Bud. You know, he was the originator. He's the one that took my knowledge and took his knowledge and combined the two. And, you know, he was the day guy, I was the night guy. And if that place was open, one of us was there at Night Moves. And then he decided he wanted to not be in the bar so much that he handed me all the keys besides it. Call me when it all goes to crap. I mean, okay, I can do that.
Yeah, I have a real funny quick story about Bud. I had a couple of accountants that I had back in the early 2000s, an Orthodox Jewish couple named Jack and Audrey Joffrey. They worked out of their condo over by the synagogue. You might know them, Wilbur, also, because they were Ralph's accountant, and I know Bud's and DJ Paul from, you know, 3-6 Mafia. I remember going into their. Oh, yours too? Okay. Yeah. They were great people. I mean, they saved me a lot when I was going through my divorce, believe me. And I remember going into their condo. I walked in and there's a plaque on the wall of and this is before I knew they were, you know, DJ Paul's accountants. And it was DJ Paul winning, I think, you know, some Grammys or some award that he won. And they had it on the wall. And I remember looking at this. Here's this mid-70s Orthodox Jewish couple with DJ Paul plaque on the wall. And I'm like, why do you got, are y'all like fans of this music? And they're like, no, where's the accountant? He's awesome. You know, that guy pays all his taxes. He does everything the right way. He's just awesome. But it was just funny, you know, that relationship, you know, they're just found out and they talked good about Bud and Ralph and, you know, and everything. And they were just some great people back in the day.
They sure were.
They were just super nice. You know, the quote that I remember mostly is as close as it gets, as close to New York as it gets, you know, Club 616, 600 Marshall Avenue. You know, it happens to be my favorite bar nightclub of all time. I literally was in there from 90 to 95, probably 3 to 4 nights a week, from Wednesday through Saturday, sometimes on Sunday nights too. You know, it was just so much fun. What do you think made that place such a unique atmosphere to where people even still talk about it today?
Well, 616 is a very unique place. We survived a whole lot of crap that went on when they tried to burn us down, or when they, you know, new clubs would open, try to steal that. And we always played another one bites the dust every time one would close. on the recording. We had all the top acts that came through Memphis, played the Widespread Panic. People that played stadiums and the FedEx Forum now got their first start. The Matchbox 20.
Wow.
And they all played there together. You can go on and on. I mean, we had Thrill Kill Call. We had Public Enemy on Christmas night. We had things that they said you shouldn't do anymore, but we did them anyway. And we had live music. Bud and I went to Dallas, Texas, for a place called the Start Club, and we were researching ideas for what we were going to do at 616. And we went in, and they had a chain link fence around the dance floor. And people were hanging off the chain link fence like they were caged animals. And I was, well, that's pretty cool. But what we didn't know until we got to the bar, and everybody was going, I'll have a Bud Light and 2 hits of that X. Because that was back in Dallas, they could sell ecstasy off the bar before it became illegal. And everybody in there was tripping. I was going, well, and they had co-ed bathrooms. I really wanted the co-ed bathrooms, but he didn't think that would work either. So we took that, and I said, well, let's just put the chain link fence around the dance floor, and we won't sell X, and we won't have co-ed bathrooms, but we'll take that and we'll play the music. And that's where we got the chain link fence. Then we opened the dungeon with Grafflin and Dietra. And that developed into the debauchery and whatever else was going down there.
That dungeon room was something else.
Yeah, and then when you had Floyd over in the pool room, and Rami would feed him a rat every now and then. The guy that came in would snap the rat at midnight. Yeah, it was really unique. And I remember when they firebombed us, they were trying to burn us down. I had to tell the fireman, I said, look, because we had Floyd up in the bathtub up in there. The Cayman's gonna be pissed off in that bathtub when you go up there. You need to don't let him get out or bite you. But 616 was really unique. We didn't even put a sign up when we first opened, and we wouldn't tell you where it was. And if you called the club and wanted to know directions or what was going on, the only thing we would tell you was, hey, just ask your friends. And if they won't tell you, you probably don't need to be here. And that would drive them absolutely nuts to where they had to find it.
Right.
They had to come. And, we were 18 and over back when that wasn't possible.
Right.
We had a festival license, which nobody else had, that we won't really go into that. But we had a festival license. We stayed open all night. When Mongo would have the younger people at Mongo's, and they couldn't wait to turn so they could run down the street to 616.
Yeah, because it was open till 6 a.m, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Every night.
Yeah. Those times were so much fun, and I still as good as the club scene is, and many clubs are still good. To me, it's just nothing was like that time back then. And I know I lived that time, so it was just a lot of fun. We didn't have cell phones back then. We didn't worry. People were people were involved with talking to other people.
Yeah, you actually had to talk to someone. And
you could get away with a little bit more too.
Yes, you could.
Yeah, yes. No cameras, it was a different time frame. I think the club business in this town is really sad, and I don't think you'll ever see another place like 152, 616, or
right.
Night. I don't think there'll ever be another one like that again.
I agree. And you also, there was another club on Beale Street. I think Romeo was telling me about. Was it Have a Nice Day Cafe that you had some involvement into?
No, I didn't have that. That was
nothing. Yeah, but you helped Goose out down there.
I I helped a whole lot of people out. But
Okay,
I,
so you
I
did.
didn't get paid for
Okay, that's okay. That's
No,
still
no, I didn't
helping.
say you
That's
got
still
paid, but
involvement.
it.
and that's how you brought Goose to 152, right?
I did. Yeah, I
Yeah.
did. Heck, I tried to help you when you were in the nightclub and at the Horseshoe.
Yeah, no, man. Nightclubs don't belong in Tunica, Mississippi. I'll tell you that.
That's exactly right. At least not next to the high limit room.
Yeah. No, don't tell me. Don't bring bad memories. This is supposed to be positive, Wilbur.
Yeah.
Speaking of positive, Kelly, you and your wife met at 152. Is that right?
Well, I was in front of the club doing my best Bud and Wilbur impersonation. You know, they had this uncanny ability to, I mean, Bud could literally walk in the building, pass by everybody one time, not say anything to anybody, and everybody would work better for 4 hours. I mean, they just, because they're like, asshole puckered up, Bud's in the building, we better get to work. Same thing with Wilbur. But yeah, when I met my wife, I was in front of Club 152. I seen her coming from a long ways away, and the moment I met her, I told myself, I was like, man, why can't I get a girl like that? And she came back a few days later to see me, and
Awesome.
we've been together ever since.
Yeah, Bud
Got
had
two
a
beautiful
presence. Bud
children
had a
and-
presence about him.
Do
Yeah.
what?
Bud had a
And-
presence about him that, you know, he just demanded the respect just walking
I didn't
into
mean
a
to
room.
turn a question about my wife into Bud, but yeah, that I was standing out front of the club when I met my wife, and
I
yeah,
still
that's
have to
the
nail that.
biggest blessings of my life came from 152. You know,
I still have to mail him a check for that too. You know, I mean, every
you owe
now-
me a couple checks. You're back, dude. You keep saying that they're post dated and you send them to the wrong address. You're running out of excuses. It's been Carly's 12 now. Now you need.
It's post dated.
Yeah, I mean, very few people even use checks these days anymore. Anyway, I mean, who uses a check anymore?
Well, he ain't
Venmo,
coming off
Cash
none of that
App,
cash, so I
PayPal.
know I got to get a check. He ain't come-
Hey, Kelly, that cash ain't coming to you. That guy's going straight to the Horseshoe.
Hey, you know when somebody shows up with a $10,000 worth of bills from 1980, they got something going on. You know.
Absolutely. You know, Wilbur, you posted something a few months back that I really loved. It hit home with me. It said, "I'll never regret someone that I had an amazing time and experience with, even if we fall off. You made my life special at a certain time. We grew together, even if we grew apart. Thank you." What does that mean to you?
Well, that was you know, for several people actually. You know, because as you go older, you don't have the same experiences and the same things that you did when you were younger, especially with people that you don't really see as much.
Right.
And I just sort of wanted to let everybody know that they were special.
You know, you guys had something really cool happen back in October of 2013. I remember Wilbur posted on, I believe on Twitter, that Drake was about to make a music video at Club 152. How did that come about, and what was he like?
That was with his dad. You know, his dad hung out at 152. Kelly probably tell you more about that than me. He's the one put that together.
Kelly?
Yeah, Drake's dad was a regular. You know, he was a VIP. He come to the Shadows all the time, and he used to say, he said, well, you know, I'm gonna bring my son in here, and it's like, hey man, you're a star too, you know. And he's kind of done his thing. He's come out with a few songs, and you know, 152 was almost it was a people where could before social media. Beale Street was how you networked. You know, before, if you didn't have a publicist, you could come to 152 and sit on the first floor and see 2,000 different people. If you got your music played in 152, you could tell people that's something that you could hang your hat on. But that certainly wasn't the case with Drake. But it was his father that we got really close to. You know, he would always come in and bring some of the who's who in town. And one day he called and said, hey, my son's in town and we need somewhere to hang out. And they took over the whole third floor. and Drake was as humble and as professional and thankful, and he was very Memphis music informed. You know, he has a real appreciation for Memphis heritage, Memphis music. People like Wilbur who have, you know, kind of paved the way in Memphis for musicians to have platforms to play their music. He took picture after picture after picture after picture. And that's what I was going to say about, you said 616. The lineup of people that came there to play is unmatched in Memphis. But I promise you, the guests that came in to 152 to spend their money or to be seen or to get that picture or bottle service is some of those same artists. You know, 616 was the place they performed. 152 is where everybody came after somebody in the city paid them to play. You'd hear about a concert somewhere. You'd hear about a ball game at FedEx Forum. Everybody knew if they wanted a chance to maybe run into those folks, it was on the third floor of Club 152.
It's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Were you down there, Romeo, for the Drake?
Man, the Drake one I missed, but I mean, we had Justin Timberlake used to come up there when D'Angelo was here. That was his favorite spot. Shadows always, man. The Grizzlies, name them, they all been up there. And then when we had the best team in Memphis basketball with Derrick Rose, Joey Dorsey, that they all
Worldwide
lived at
West, where you
152.
at?
Worldwide West, man.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot
West,
of talent.
baby. King of bottle service.
Man, Worldwide loves that place. No doubt. But you know, I mean, Mike, you saw the space wasn't that big, but at the same time, everybody was very respectful of everybody else, and they have their distances. It was amazing. Like, we never had any problems up there with any of the celebrities that we had up there partying and having. But just like Kelly said, even if they performed at the FedEx Forum, their getaway was 152 Shadows. Like, hey, that's my after party. They call it an after party. It was them to go get drunk and have a good time.
Romeo, didn't you bring Timberlake and Jessica Biel for their Thanksgiving party?
We did.
That's you and Ray.
That was the Thanksgiving. That was Ray Fleming, Kyle Davenport, and Trey Sayala. Man, that was a good fun party. The Thanksgiving one was a great party.
I tell that at Christmas.
That's when everybody.
I still tell that. That's one of my top ones. That one right there. So thank you for that.
Everybody in Memphis first met Jessica Biel. They're like, "Oh my God, she is beautiful." I was like, "Yeah, man, my boy's got it."
It's one thing to bring the local celebrity, but to bring other celebrities like that was that's what I'm saying. We weren't who we were without people like you out there, Romeo.
Man, it was fun. It was like a second home to us a lot of the time. It was a good place to get away and enjoy yourself without being bothered and knowing you're not gonna get bombarded or abused. It was awesome. It just brings back a lot of good memories, man. But I got a question for Wilbur though. Wilbur, you talk about special relationships, man. You're like me. You know, I'm very close with I was very close with my grandmother. Your relationship with your mom is one of the best I've ever seen. Like I tell that to everybody. That's what I love about you. Like, your mom is still up here and you're queen, and you don't even mind going to dinners, breakfasts, travel, shop. You know, a lot of the kids kind of get ashamed if they're hanging around their parents. You blasted everywhere, and I love that about you. Can you just tell us a little bit about that relationship?
My mom's a very special lady. She doesn't get to go out as much as she used to, and I try to go get her for lunch or dinner as often as I can. But yeah, we used to go everywhere. We would go. We'd go to the Peabody. We'd ride. We do everything.
Calipari's #1 fan, right?
Well,
everything that we could together, and I just, she is very special. She taught me a lot.
Yeah, I was telling Romeo earlier about the food. I think you guys go to West Street Diner, and she's either getting, I think it's a chef salad or turkey and dressing or pot roast or vegetables. Those seem to be her favorites.
She likes the West Street Diner, and then, when you ask her where she wants to go, if she wants to go there, you just go there. And been there 10 times in a row. That's just go wherever she wants to go. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, when someone's 89 years old, they get to choose where they want to go.
And I took her to the Horseshoe not too long ago. I was one of the first.
Yeah.
I asked her, "What do you want to do, Mom?" She goes, "I haven't been to the casino in a long time." I mean, here we go. And boy, my brothers were pissed because you can't take her to the Horseshoe. I mean, she's 89. She wants to go to the casino. She don't care what you think.
Right. You know, talking about special relationships, Kelly, I think it was a little bit over 7 years ago when you left Club 152. You still there?
Yep,
There you go.
It's yeah, I'm here.
That's okay. You left 152 and you wrote a really heartfelt message, you know, thanking everybody and how much love there was. Is that the special relationships, those friendships, those nightly visits with people? Is that what you miss the most about it?
I get asked all the time, do you miss it? I say, I miss my friends. I miss my family. You know, 10 years of those bonds that I've, thank God for social media, all the way back to connecting to people back home. But the 152 people, if I'm being honest, is why, you know, all the way from Bud, sitting with him, I watched him build 4 or 5 businesses from scratch with putting names together. I still do that. That's exactly how I came up with Roof and Nail. I sit around and I emulate Bud Chittum, how he would chicken scratch and he would think about some history and a name that would go with this. And sitting with him and working with Street Savvy, putting together things, the relationships that I miss, that they still showed up. You know, when I opened the clinic, it was my 152 family that showed up, and that was like, I don't care what you're doing, Kelly, I'm still going to support you. Then when I sold out of that, I said, hey guys, I don't know anything about roofing and remodeling, but this is what I'm doing now. They all show up, you know, so that's the part I miss. You know, we were a family, you know. I've gotten as close to some of those people as anybody on this planet. And yeah, that's the biggest thing. Certainly the fun times and the rush of it all is unmatched. But just the people, man, I just miss my friends. Like I was a hugger. Like I couldn't wait to see my friends and hug them and shake hands and talk to them on a daily, sometimes weekly, monthly, whatever it is basis. That's the biggest part for me is I just miss them, you know. Even some of the guests, you know, they're the people that we've seen on a regular. Romeo, I miss Romeo. You know, it was once or twice a month. He's like, hey man, I got some high rollers coming in. I need you to get them back to me in 2 hours, though. You know what I mean? Like, don't let them. You know,
Yeah, let them enjoy it, but don't let them stay away from the casino for too long. No.
One bottle, Kelly. One bottle. Do you understand? One bottle. I'm like, okay, man, I got you. And then put them back in the limo and send them to me. I'm like, okay, I got you. You know, just some of those. That's the stories that I tell, or the people that come back, and you'll hear Wilbur on another level. People come up to him, and I've been with him, and they start telling about the best time they ever had. That's a Tuesday for Wilbur Hensley. You know what I mean? The story of their life is a Tuesday. You know, they're like, oh, there's this one time and we got married on the stage, and then this girl took us in, and then a guy did this, and it's just that was every day for us, you know, and there's you get addicted to that for sure. But you know, when my daughter was born, it was like, hey, I ain't missing this.
Yeah.
You know, I love Club 152. I love my family. My 152 family still do to this day. Look forward to every opportunity to interacting with them. But when you have a kid, and your kid, you're like, okay, too many hours. And I'm sure Wilbur can attest to that because he raised the family in this industry, you know. And for me, to answer your question, I miss my friends and family and the good and the bad interactions, you know, the roller coaster that was running a top 100 nightclub, you know. It's certainly miss it.
You know, talking about, you know, the family and everything, we hadn't really talked much about Blue City Cafe. You know, opened up in, I believe, March of '91 under the name Doe's Eat Place, and that changed quickly. Within a few years, it became Blue City Cafe, and Wilbur, some amazing people, you know, played at Blue City. I think B.B. King, Rufus Thomas, Jerry Lee Lewis, Reverend Al Green, Smashing Pumpkins, Kid Rock, and many more. And then you had super famous guests there too. You know, Robert De Niro, Samuel L. Jackson, President Clinton, President Bush, Dave Chappelle, Jerry Seinfeld, and more, including Tom Cruise, who came in there. There was a famous scene from the movie The Firm. It's a pretty good long scene that he was in there in The Firm from Blue City Cafe. How did that come about where that scene was filmed at the Blue City?
Yeah,
That's a good question.
It all started, what happened with it, that was all Bud. I didn't really have anything to do with that. It happened, and it will forever be a part of it, but that was something Bud chose to put together. Otherwise, I would have been in the movie.
Right.
They still have that booth, right, Michael?
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
Well, I can't speak for since I've been gone, but I've sat in that booth. It wasn't no longer. They took it when they remodeled. They kept that one.
That's very cool.
It was quite special, and oh gosh, the other thing that was there, Soul Man with Bernie Mac, and gosh, who else was in that one, Kelly? We were
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
We used the third floor for their holding. They used the third floor of 152 of their holding, but they shot it on Bill and the bandbox.
Yeah, there's a scene in that movie that shows it all. I was actually.
Let me tell you something about Bud on that one. I still remember talking to him about it. Everybody's all excited, and Bud says, I need Final Cut, and I need to know what's in it for us. He said, I'm done doing freebies. I don't care who they are. He recognized, and that's something. And the only reason I mention that is because I preach brand all the time to my people, and nobody got it like Bud Chittum. When you watch that movie, and there is 2 full seconds or 3 full seconds of the Blue City Cafe, nothing but the screen. You're in the theater, and there's nothing on the screen but Blue City Cafe, and it blinks like 3 times. And that was Bud.
Wow.
You ain't blacking out nothing of mine. If you're going to be in my building, you're going to put my brand on that. And man, I'm telling you, it's every day that I'm talking and I'm channeling things that I learned from him. But I'm glad you brought that up, Wilbur, because I'd almost forgot about that. But I remember him, Kelly, we don't do freebies no more. I used to get calls from different artists, different movie companies, and they come in with this, we're coming in here, we're doing you a favor. And he said, it costs what it costs. We're already here. We don't need there's no freebies. But that's a good story right there. That's a good question too, Michael.
Speaking of, talking about, branding and everything in your company, is obviously you have your shirt on there, Roof and Nail. I love some of your taglines, big or small. We appreciate them all. Also,
that's Bud Chittum, baby.
Is it?
That's Bud Chittum. I'm telling you, man.
Wind or hail, we call Roof and Nail.
100%. That's street savvy. I worked with them for 10. Every party I ever threw, every brand I've ever built, I've worked side by side with them. And we sit and talk about the Miss Polly's when it was put together, the Dancing Jimmy's, which what used to be Jerry Lee's, Blue City Cafe, Club 152 being the address. That's all brand, and it's all brilliant. 616, the address. These things that you see emulated and copied over and over and over again. Man, that's the butterfly effect of Bud Chittum and Wilbur Hensley and the team that is Second and Big. And I see it, recognize it, and I'm so thankful to be on the screen today talking about it, because it's I don't know, it carries on with me every day. But that's all that stuff you see me posting. That's from working that muscle right across the office from Bud Chittum and watching him pull out a napkin and build a concept, from scratch, and coming from the name meaning something from a woman he knew or something he's seen somewhere else. And I'm thankful for that. But 100%, that's a shout out to Bud.
And you,
they were called Buddhisms. It was a Bud.
Yeah.
Buddhisms.
you learned all those things from them, but you also, I think through them and through learning, you also developed a really good work ethic, which I talked about, that Wilbur has earlier. And even when you're on a job in a neighborhood, I read where you're still out in that neighborhood, you're posting door hangers, looking for the next job and everything. And so that just shows that you have a clear vision of what you want. And a friend of yours, Trainer Jennings III, said of you, quote, "Kelly, I had a random thought on an airplane today. People will buy anything you're a part of. If you put your name on it, people will know it's the best. You are so thankful of the business you get also. I'm so proud of the company y'all are building." Do you believe that most of that strong work ethic was developed in the 10 years that you were with Wilbur and Bud and the crew?
Well, I come from a blue collar family. My dad had me working on farms at 10, 11, 12 years old, so it certainly started there.
Sure.
I was in the military for 4 years. I certainly learned how to work. You mentioned my grandpa. My dad, my grandpa, my uncles, they're all hardworking men. I watched that my whole life. I've certainly tried to figure out how to work smarter, not harder. But through those years, man, there's going through that. I'm confident that there's nothing that can break me as far as work. You working till 8 in the morning and 9 in the morning with no sunshine, and then getting up and being back at 3 or 4, 5 o'clock sometimes. It's hard on you. So going out here and getting hot and being on a roof or picking up shingles or hanging door hangers, that's nothing compared to the being in those 4 walls for 10 years. That's the truth.
And now I understand where, when Wilbur said he knew he had the guy with you, you developed that early on in that blue collar family and then being in the military. I didn't know either of those things. So that no wonder why when he got you, Wilbur, he was a great people person, was able to spot that he knew he had the guy, when you, and from what you developed at a young age. And then you took what you had at a young age and you turned it into even a bigger thing in the 10 years that you spent with them.
Well, working with Bud or with Wilbur, it was he's seen a lot of the shaking hands and kissing babies, and he knew how important that was. And then Bud he would come, he would tell me, "Hey, Kelly, you're doing good, but I'm not impressed." And I was like, "What do you mean, Bud?" He said, "You work entirely too hard." And that'll bring me back to what I said about him earlier, how he could walk in the room and he gets 50%, 100% more out of everybody in the building. And I didn't have that as like he had it. I was more of I'm going to grab the plate. I'll grab the trash can. I'll jump in and try to make a difference. But I've always been that way though. And that comes from, my raising.
Something I read that musician Rod Bland posted a picture with Wilbur and him, and there was another gentleman in it, and he said, quote, "Can't say enough great things about this gentleman in the middle of this photo. Not enough adequate words in the English language, but I must say I had the distinct pleasure and privilege to be part of his team at Club 152. Wishing you the happiest of happy birthday and many more. Love you, my friend." Now that is special. And, a lot of people, are involved, you're involved in so many different things, but that isn't the reason why people like you and are drawn to you. They like you because the person that you are, and, and the love that you guys have for the people that work with you. Like, they're not employees, they're people, and everything. And you appreciate what they do, and you appreciate, the things that Kelly's done for you and everything. And, that just shows, to me, that just tells all about the character of a person. What do you guys think?
I agree. And Wilbur will tell you too that having people like Rod Bland was a big part of our success. A lot of people don't know it, but Rod Bland, we had house bands come and go. We did live music 365 days a year, sometimes 2, 3, 4, 5 bands with 3 DJs. So having people like Rod Bland who could, on the drop of a dime, I think I called him one night and I said, "Rod," I said, "this thing from Monday to Friday is yours." He's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "I need you to get me some Memphis artists. I need you to elevate this thing." And I didn't have a big budget for it. So, you get Rod Bland, the Brimstone Joneses, the Zach Myers, those were all a testament to having people like Rod Bland to come in and make 152 what it was. And I know that wasn't the question, but you brought up Rod.
Yeah.
And I wanted to, take the time to shout him out. His dad, Bobby Blue Bland, rest in peace. some of the coolest memories I have in that building. There wasn't but 8 or 10 of us in the whole building. All the chairs are up, and Bobby Blue Bland is rehearsing for his next tour. And I just sat there by myself. Wilbur came in. It just a few of us just watching Bobby Blue Bland play on that little bitty stage, just knowing the places he'd been, the legacy that was him and BB King. Some of my most cherished memories in that building. So I'm glad you brought him up. I know he's got an album out that just won an award. I think members only band. They redid a lot of Bobby's songs, and I think they're working on a really, really big project that we're all going to hear about soon. There's some top tier artists. A couple of them I think we maybe have even mentioned in this podcast, but I can't disclose everything.
Right.
They really rooting for those guys, Street Savvy and Rod Bland and all that they've got going on with that new project. So shout them out real quick.
Yeah, he's on my list.
Shameless plug.
That was a very special day when I got to meet his dad. Being able to sit there, shake his dad's hand, and talk to him for a few minutes was a very, very special day.
We've met a bunch of people. We've met hundreds, and I can't even drop in the bucket to the people you've met. But you talk about the Drakes, you talk about the Kobe Bryants, you talk about the Justin Timberlakes. But the legacy of, just whenever we had Elvis's guitarist, forgive me for not remembering his name, but just thinking like, okay, that guy right there is sitting here now, and that's the way it was for Bobby Blue. He would go next door to Miss Polly's and get a barbecue bologna sandwich. And I begged them for a long time. I was like, you need to name this thing the Bobby Blue barbecue sandwich. But that stories like that, like I said, that's a Tuesday. That's a Tuesday at 2:00 that we had the legend Bobby Blue Bland rehearsing for his last tour. Those stories are. It doesn't even seem real. I feel like my nose is growing and I'm lying right now. But got Wilbur here to verify it for me. But yeah, man, great question, Michael. I appreciate that.
Now, Wilbur, I believe that you've battled cancer for about 18 years now, and you obviously are persevering and winning the fight. I think something that you posted back in April is so true about life. You said, quote, "Everybody that's riding with you ain't riding for you. Let the gas run out and see who helps you push." Why do you believe you've been able to reach deep down and get through your fight with cancer? And you've had a lot of great people in your inner circle that have helped push you, haven't you?
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't be who I am today without the people that are around me. It takes a strong circle of friends to get through some of the crap that I went through. And when you're a cancer patient, you never know what the next doctor's visit is going to be. Which I have to give a shout out for this. October 28th at the Horseshoe Casino. I'm going to beat Romeo for the 4th time in the Battle of the Brawls, and I want all my friends to come down because this one is going to be epic.
I can't wait. That's going to be my first one.
Actually, it's an amazing event. It's honoring breast cancer, but we have survivors from all over that come in, and we have Wilbur, people that survived cancer, 15 years, and then we have Wilbur is one of the biggest celebrities, D'Angelo Williams, myself. We had a couple other people before, like Mike Miller, where you have to model a bra, and people have to vote on who's the best dressed and best performed. And we raise money. I mean, every year and each year it raised more money for the American Cancer Society, and it's becoming an amazing event. And I'm getting sick of losing to Wilbur. God dang it! So it's gotta change. No animals, Wilbur. You cannot have an animal on stage this year.
I've already went over your head, Romeo. I'll have to talk to you about what I'm going to do. Eric and I are on the same page.
But like you said, October 28th, October 28th, if you want to see some good stuff, man, this is an event that's definitely, we haven't marketed as good as we should, but it's definitely an unbelievable event for a great cause.
Yes, it is. I wish everybody would come and see that.
What we need to do, we need to get back on, and like Kelly talked about having a part B here, sometime before then. Today's been, more about asking questions and stuff like that. But I think next time I'd like us just to get on and sort of just having like an open forum and just talking about things. I know that, you guys have a lot of short stories that you can share, from times at 152, times at the casino, times on cruise ships to Alaska and different places that would be fun to share with everyone. And I definitely plan on getting back on again.
Wilbur told me Alaska was off limits.
No. We'll mention that in part B for sure. That needs its own 15 minutes because it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. So we'll just get on and let you guys tell some good stories. I just have one last question for each of you guys. Kelly, you first. What are the most important lessons that you've learned in life?
Love each other, man. Be there for each other, family, friends. We're just here for a short period of time, man. And so many people waste it on being petty and holding hate in their heart, and man, letting go and second chances. I feel like been around the world and back, and with business, and it's it just keep taking care of people, and people will take care of you. People are people. You're all in it together, man. That's my 2 cents.
Awesome. Wilbur, what about you?
I find that if you treat everybody like you would like to be treated yourself, you don't have someone that is working with you or working for you to do anything that you wouldn't do yourself, that people will come to realize what it is to be a true friend. That's my thing. I like to treat everybody the same way I would like to be treated. And I hope that along the way, that's what I've done.
Two great answers.
Awesome.
Yeah, what great answers. I want to thank you guys so much for coming on today, and Romeo, to help me co-host this. And Romeo is going to actually be coming on at least once a month to co-host with me, and I'm excited about that, and maybe even twice a month and everything. And we're going to get that down to sort of different for me, because I've just been so used to asking all the questions and stuff, and we're going to get that down a little bit better, because I'd like to definitely have him a little bit more engaged. But that's my fault, because I had all the questions and everything to ask.
No, I like it like that. I like it, man.
I'm definitely going to get you more. I'm going to get you more engaged for sure. This is.
You better get him quick, Michael, because his wife's going to hold him down.
I know. Yeah.
Hey. Did anybody tell you it changes, or did it don't change once you get married? It's just a piece of paper. Did they tell you that?
my life changes when I propose, buddy. It's over.
Oh no. Wait.
Oh my God.
Like we talked about finding out when times get tough, you find out who your people are.
Wrap it up, Mike. Wrap it up before she wraps me up.
Yeah, before she picks her head in the room and says, "What's going on in here?"
Hey, Mike, real quick. I know that I think me and Wilbur were supposed to do another podcast with our guy Kenny. I don't know if you know him, but yeah, I certainly like to shout him out. Shout out, Jason Aldridge and him for really being the head of our security over those years. I'm confident me and Wilbur we got less black eyes and broken bones because we had those guys.
We also couldn't have done all this without Cindy Wilson.
Who's that?
We couldn't have done this without Cindy.
Oh, you already said that. Yeah, for sure. That she was Mama Bird. All the philanthropy you've seen, she was there's no experience like the HR experience she got. Let's just put it that. She kept us together, and I'm glad to see her still successful over at Lafayette's. Those guys, I mean, they're carrying the torch. They've got a few of our folks working there, and Julian, like he says, greatest GM of all time, and hey, yeah, go see her at Lafayette. But yeah, she was the balance for sure.
And
Awesome.
don't count us out. I may get Kelly to come back in one more time. We'll just do it one more time.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll do we'll call the episode mostly stories. Me and Wilbur will write down a few highlights, because I mean I've got some that I was able to squeeze a few of them in, but like I said, that was a Tuesday,
Right.
you know, and me and that man right there have been through a lot, and Romeo was there for a lot of the stories. I mean, Romeo's the host of the city, you know, he's the guy.
No.
You know? I'll hear
No,
his
man,
name.
we try.
I'll be I'm just I'm kind of just an average guy. I got a roofing company, and I'm
Get out
hauling,
of here, man.
and I'll hear people. I'll be talking to people about going to the casino or going to a concert, and both names I've heard them in the context of not knowing that I know them. Well,
Right.
I know Romeo. I know Romeo, or I know Wilbur. I'm gonna
Hey.
call Wilbur. I'm just like,
Right.
I can't even. I'm not even gonna. I just let it go. I'm like, man, that's we had some good times, guys, and I'm super thankful for y'all's friendship.
Definitely.
Well, this is
Super thankful for this
a ton of fun
conversation.
today, man. So
Next
thank
one.
you guys. And we'll get together definitely again soon, and we'll have a part B, because that'll be a lot of fun too.
Sounds good.
Perfect. Thanks,
Thank you
Mike.
guys. Thank you guys.
Thanks,
Thanks, guys.
All right.
See you soon.